Bitcoin is flying, fiat is dying, and no one seems to care. We all know the symptoms of dying as we've experienced someone or something close go through the process. A family member, a friend, a pet, plant, or car, a computer, an empire, a company, or a monetary system. Dying as in the gradual breakdown or deterioration of function. You feel it, it's happening, but you choose to ignore it. It's time to wake up before the government currencies take you down with it. It's Sir Ulrich and my signal meter is red. Because I talk to no-coiner family, friends, and industry associates, they have no clue nor care about the growth of Bitcoin mining industry, nation-state adoption, or financial institution capitulation as Bitcoin crosses $1 trillion in market cap again. Remember Blackrock was the chief nemesis to Bitcoin, with all types of campaigns against it? Now they're trying to sell you their Bitcoin. Do you sense any disconnect? I mean, people can psychoanalyze a fictional character on TV, but numb to the company that owns everything and is buying something that you can buy too. So I want to share some stories about a few people I know, and I promise I won't dox them, but if they were to watch this, they would probably recognize themselves. Let me know in the comments if you have any experiences with these types of personas. Let me know how you think they should be approached about Bitcoin, if they should be approached at all. But before I go on, your support is what makes this YouTube channel the growing powerhouse it is. Subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. All these interactions contribute to help us wake the world up to Bitcoin. So I know an engineer. He's scared that Bitcoin will just go down again. Is he wrong? No. What asset just increases value every day? But for some reason, this is just not a legitimate argument against a plethora of Silicon Valley companies to him. The only thing that's continually going down is the number of eggs he can buy with his preferred money. His option, I'm afraid, is a slow death or a violent awakening. My friend is the type that reads one Financial Times article and now has it all figured out. How did the mainstream media convince so many of us to hold the fiat bag while big finance reaps massive buying power gains? The answer could possibly just be a poor allocation of time. And that leads me to my next associate, a program manager that says he doesn't have time to try to understand Bitcoin. No time. He's worked for 30 to 35 years on the verge of a serious retirement planning. Sadly, the monetary system where he stores his buying power, he just assumes is good enough. But how does he figure that? Where does he get this assuredness from? With his nest egg so close to being used and world-changing financial events seemingly on the cusp of reality, is there really no time to understand what the hell is going on with monetary technology? I'm sure if the New York Times said Vanguard, JP Morgan, or whomever has his 401k is not going to survive this decade, he would likely make some time. Bitcoin's emergence, the dollar's accelerating debasement, this is not a game anyone should be comfortable playing. Some people are not ready to face real life, but they will make an excuse to cover for their short-sighted handling of their livelihood. Speaking of which, I know a finance manager that doesn't believe in any investment, including Bitcoin. Well, that just may sound like many regular people, nothing extraordinary. But what she may think is shelter and inaction is completely false. Her belief and action rests firmly in what she holds and therefore hopes that all things around her devalue according to that government currency. If she thinks for a second that this path will preserve her buying power, she is short-sighted, head in the clouds, and doing a disservice to her future generations. When you refuse to make an informed decision, someone's just going to make it for you. It could be your boss, your bank, or your government. I can guarantee you none of these people will choose Bitcoin for her. Looking back, when Bitcoin matures in adoption, is she going to blame them or herself for refusing to address her mental block. So how about you guys watching? Are you comfortable in this paper empire? Which of these hardworking yet distracted personas do you know in your life? Share in the comments below. At the very least, we Bitcoiners know a little about history. While it may not absolutely repeat, it certainly does rhyme. Take a look at the trends of the world reserve currency status over the last 600 years. Since 1450, there have been 6 major world reserve currency periods: Portugal, Spain, Netherlands, France, Great Britain, and the United States today. If you notice, the average span of these periods is 94 years. What surely seemed like unparalleled dominance in the moment seemed to always run out of steam after about a century. Portugal's dominance waned as other European powers like Spain and the Netherlands expanded their maritime trade routes and colonial territories. Spain's decline was hastened by costly wars, excessive spending, squeezing the wealth out of their colonies, and internal political instability and strife. Sound familiar? The Dutch Republic's period of economic prominence saw a decline due to increased competition from England and France. Military defeats such as the Anglo-Dutch Wars and internal economic challenges also contributed. France's loss of global reserve status was largely due to the economic strain of financing wars, including the 7 Years' War and the Napoleonic Wars. The UK's cost of maintaining its vast empire and the economic devastation of World War I paved the way for USA dominance. And now, for 104 years, 10 years over the average, the USA has held the top seat. Government spending as a percentage of GDP has continually increased over 75 years. The dollar has lost 97% of its value over the last century. We have fought or financed wars for decades against rival nations with ambitions to displace the dollar. The USA has had its credit rating reduced, and before the end of this decade will not be able to service its own debt interest without printing money. In terms of pounds of chicken, gallons of gas, and cost of education, or time to save for a house, you are essentially poorer every year. But you know what they tell you on big news platforms where millions of people are addicted to: nobody panic. Well, I'll tell you this. If you are a millennial or a working class Gen Z, you should panic. Your buying power based in dollars is dying. If you are on the verge of retirement, you should panic. Your retirement plans are being cut short. In this culture corner, I have 3 quotes. The first says, "I believe it's necessary to return control of money back to the people." That's from Satoshi Nakamoto. However, the problem with this is the majority of people are not in enough pain to take the necessary steps towards that direction. Marcus Cicero said, "All pain is either severe or slight. If slight, it's easily endured. If severe, it will without doubt be brief." This fiat dilemma we are in reminds me of Charles Dickens' The Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epic of belief, it was the epic of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. While we progress because of the human spirit of value creation, we are held back by the same spirit that harbors darkness and deviousness, willing to steal in the blink of an eye. We are brilliant and sophomoric, sometimes at the same time confusing everyone around us. The monetary system is the basis of everything in society. If you are feeling confused, you can look no further than the dollar in your wallet. It's designed to skew economic action away from the most rational free market forces. Bitcoin is just not a blind dice roll for getting rich or pumping bags. It's a concerted effort to return rational incentives to your everyday decisions, from the individual to the collective. It will change the world. And if you are not a part of the class of people that is enriched every time a central bank prints a new currency unit, Bitcoin will benefit you. I am Sir Ulrich, like my father before me. Fiat is dying, so learn something about Bitcoin and carve for yourself an out of this debt-based Ponzi scheme system.